Let's take a look at the next drill in our breaststroke series. This is going to be a delayed accordion drill with the snorkel. So at this point, we've worked on a couple things with the breaststroke, especially establishing great body positioning so that the body here can go really, really nice and forward. And we're really learned on how to get the kick to be where we want. We've talked about getting the legs up to a great height, how the feet turn out, and then overall how we want the hands and feet to really work together. Now with breaststroke, what we ultimately like is having a slight separation between the pull and the kick. That way, just like this, our athletes can end in a really great straight line as they are performing the breaststroke itself. So we're going to build on our accordion drill with a delay in it. So here what's going to happen is we're going to see the hands come in to the just in front of the head. And then what we're going to see is the arms are going to push out. Where this is going to be different is the legs will load up a little bit later. Here our athlete is wearing a snorkel, so that way the eyes can maintain down and we can breathe comfortably without having to kind of challenge the athlete in some way. So that we like these various progression models. And remember, use what works for you with your athletes. If you want to bring them along a little bit slower, this is the way to go. Otherwise, you could look at not going with the snorkel and just having them breathe. We also have a progression for that as well. After the arms finish, then what we're going to do is load up the legs. So as a reminder, what we want to see is the legs come up here to the hips. The closer we can get to the hip area here, the more power we're going to get out of the kick. So our athlete here just still has a little bit of a gap between the heels and the hips here, which overall this is still pretty good. But just remember, every athlete's going to have maybe a little bit different hamstring flexibility. When the feet reach their highest point, what we're going to want to see is just that the feet here are going to turn out. When we do that, we're going to be able to catch water here on the inside of the leg and also on the inside of the feet, remembering that we want to have this downward angle when we kick. And then as we finish, we're going to want to point those toes just to allow the feet to rise up a little bit and set into the next cycle. And then we just keep repeating this. Hands come in and then push out just like that. And then the feet then load up. And we just kind of want to keep doing this throughout and making sure there is that slight separation between the kick and the pull. So the athletes begin to understand that we want to have this separation between the kick and the pull. So we transition here to going underwater. We'll take a look at that breaststroke kick. So here, a thing that we also really like and we save for this view is going to be where the knees are. We want to see the knees be right along the hip line as we set up for the kick. Too often, what we kind of see sometimes is athletes are going to flare the knees out a little bit. So the fact that we're here doing a great job of getting those knees set along the hip line. Here again, we kind of turn those feet out just from another perspective. Again, catching a lot of water right here on the inside of the legs, the inside of the feet. And then remembering we want to have that downward angled kick as we finish. Now our athlete here could curl those toes just a little bit more. There we go. See kind of how we get those feet rising up. So just curl those toes up a little bit and that'll happen as we perform the kick. And if you have athletes that go just a little bit outside of the knees, outside the hip line with the knees, it's going to be okay. Just make sure that's just something that we don't want to go too far, because when we introduce the full pull with the kick, then there's a challenge of conflict for where the arms and the legs are going to work together. Now here on a return view, we're going to just look for those same things. Head here is in a very, very steady position. Water level stays along the head where it's supposed to. And then what we see is just draw in and then push out with those arms. Perfect. Now, from this angle, we know that we have that kick going. There we go. And again, we just kind of keep repeating that cycle as our athletes are performing this drill. There we go. We got a great view of that right there. And this is not a rush drill. Just remember, breaststroke takes some patience, so don't need to rush doing this drill whatsoever. On our return view here underwater, what we want to watch for is just that the knees are not drawing into kind of that into that stomach area. So here we can see that they're right where they're supposed to be, and we knew that before, but just again another perspective for everyone to kind of consider here. Overall, if you found some great value out of this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe.